And we're back at Goodwill, this time on a Thursday, which I don't normally go to this Goodwill on Thursdays. It is a 30% color tag discount day. Just not my normal routine to be there on a Thursday. So we're going to check things out. And as usual, I go mostly right to the toy game aisle first. And just looking real quickly, scanning. Looking for sealed things, looking for unique games, not the normal thing you see over and over again. Now here's a sealed Monopoly. That's a good game. It's just at $10. I will find out in a little while. I think it was $10. I will find out in a little while that I'm going to put that back. But unfortunately, that happens a lot. You kind of just put things in your cart and then you're going to settle down into a quiet spot and check things out. Here's another sealed game. I loved those books when I was growing up. We used I don't know if you call them played those books, but enjoyed those books growing up. So it's a cool card game. All of those games were at least $10. I think the Botany was maybe even a little higher. And I do end up putting all of those back. They're just not worth it for reselling at that price. And they've rearranged this. I don't have to fight with the people looking for plastic hangers anymore, so that's great. Just kind of looking through bags of toys now. Today it's apparently not daycare in the aisle either, so very few kids in the store that I could tell. Although I do hear, I think that the two kids that I hear a lot that the store enjoys, I hear them. Another game there. I pull a lot of games out. Pretty sure that wasn't any good. I didn't even look it up, but I guess I did put it in. I looked it up later and put it back. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider hitting the like button on this video. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. That really helps out. I didn't even put that sealed game in my cart. That's a first. Just kind of scanning for anything unique. The worst feeling you can have is when you do all this looking, and then you see someone walk up, reach up, and grab something so awesome and you just missed it. So I try to do a quick, thorough scan, especially if there's no one in the aisle. This is the new way this store is doing toys. They're just dumped into these little shelf bins, and makes it real difficult to find anything. So here's a Super Soaker, and let me tell you, if you find Super Soakers that say Nerf, they're probably not going to be worth anything. That one I put in there just because I wanted to see, but I've sold some good vintage Super Soakers. It's been a while, but mostly what you find now are the Nerf Super Soakers. I do end up picking this up. I put it in the cart and it stays in the cart. That was a 2022 Bop It Extreme. So I've sold older Bop Its, like the 90s Bop Its, for pretty good money, but when I looked that one up, I was surprised to see the sell-through rate for used ones and for that year. So there's another Super Soaker. I do end up putting that one back because I think I actually have two of those right now, not listed, that need to be listed, so I passed on that. Be careful when you're testing Super Soakers in the store. I was in another Goodwill one day and I picked one up like that, and I just pulled the lever and immediately shot a little girl right in the head with a bunch of water that was still in the gun. So be careful. Assume all Super Soakers are loaded, like any good firearms handler. There's cameras above on this shelf. I'm just kind of peeking up on top of the shelf to see if any cameras are worth grabbing. And I grabbed that one, put it in my cart, and I think I pulled that one back out too. And down here is the video game controllers. Sometimes they'll sneak little Rock Band or Guitar Hero guitars under there, and I look through those. So that, you see me looking at it, that I end up looking at that so many different times. I really wanted to make that be something I could buy, even though you hear me talk about how I don't buy those if they're not in the box or they're not good ones. I looked and looked and looked. It didn't have the power cord, and I think later on I actually looked through the power cords just for that specific cord. I ended up not getting it. I think they wanted $20 for it, and just not worth it. I was able to fend off the urge to buy that. It took a lot of work though, because you see me grabbing it several times. So, and here I am trying to look it up, I think. So over here is where they keep the speakers, the TVs, the VCRs, the DVD players, and this bin right here is where the remote controls are. So I've been on the hunt for the remote for a TV that I just bought, and I did not get the right remote for it, a Samsung remote. So I'm always looking for that one. I keep a list of remotes I need. And a lot of times you'll see Bose speakers in here. I've kind of passed on those for now. Usually they're priced up. You hear that a lot on YouTube resellers. The Goodwill priced up. It's because they are priced up for certain things. You'll see today that I find an Epic item that was not priced up. And here's the other part of the toy aisle. Another row of shelf bins just loaded with stuff. And again, no daycare in this aisle, so makes it very easy to look through things. I do check out the plush. I hate that term. That to me is like the term moist for some people. These are stuffed animals. They're stuffed animals. See, there's a stuffed animal. I look through these. I have found some Angry Birds in here. They're usually priced just about a little bit too high, but sometimes you can find them. I found some good Folk Madness puppets recently in here. And so I'm just looking for unique stuff. I'm not looking for Squishmallows, and I really wanted to buy that because I like to have Sonic stuff just hanging around here in the apartment. And those are not worth anything. I must look at that thing or ones like that every time I'm in the store. They're not worth anything. So don't look at those. So we're going to come down. I think we're going to come down to the tool aisle, I believe. There's like a tool aisle, office supplies aisle here. This is usually where I head to next. And I think I'm still thinking about that Wi-Fi adapter. Who knows? Why? Yeah, the force is strong with that one. Yes, see, I'm still looking that thing up. The force is strong. But we were able to defeat the enemy, even though it was a trap. We were able to defeat the enemy. So in here, even though I'm looking at that, I'm still looking around, and occasionally I find good stuff just laying on the shelf here. And this is also a great place if you're a reseller. It's a great place to get supplies for your business. Like there's a whole pad of a legal pad there, whole yellow stack of yellow legal pads. I use paper like that all the time. Now I normally just get it when I'm buying stuff at estate sales, but here's a Royal Sovereign coin sorter in the box with a bunch of the coin papers. And I've sold these before, and this one was in the box for $10. We put it in the cart, and it stayed in the cart. Those are great coin sorters. So keep that name in your tool bag, Royal Sovereign. They don't necessarily look, they don't mean my Venn diagram of heavy and well built looking, cool looking, but they're pretty good sellers. Now here's a whole bag of metals. I was really curious what these were, and not curious enough to buy them, but I was just curious what the medals were for. If there was any like, hey, I won the Boston Marathon medal, but I didn't see those. I think they were kids participation trophies. If I participated in the Boston Marathon, I'd keep that though. Okay, so the next stop is probably going to be a kitchen, here's the kitchen pots and pans. I got a video upcoming that's an amazing trip down this row, but one thing I look for in here, and they kind of rearranged, so they threw me. They used to have knife blocks right there, and they've moved them, but I look for the big Cutco blocks. I bought one at another Goodwill, the big 32 knife block for $20, sold it for $250 like within a day. So that stuff just looks random, so you got to keep your eye out. You got to build a database of things to look for. And so I'm in here. This is Thursday. It's not normally, I don't come in here unless it's Monday when there's $1.99, and I'm looking for juicers and things like bread machines and stuff, because I'm getting them for $2. Here I'm not getting anything for $2, but I am looking for anything unique that, even though it might be a few dollars to buy, it might be well worth it. And this is actually the same section where I found the Epic item for this video. So the little pet stuff here, I'm looking for egg hatchers or whatever. I forget what those are called. I find those here occasionally for good money. And dog, like the dog remote dog collars, those are awesome here. So I'm scanning, just trying to see if I see anything. And I see something I've never seen before. I didn't even know Ninja made juicers. And so since I'd never seen them, I just kind of assumed they weren't worth buying. I don't think they're worth buying for the kind of thing I do. Maybe for $2. But here I see something. I see something very similar to something I bought here recently. And as soon as you flip the lid over, you can see the S on the top there. And Salad Master is an this is an automatic. This is automatically going in the cart. And there you see Salad Master. This is an electric 5-quart pot. And the comp, you'll be amazed with the comps on that. Now, no power cord, notice. That's important. But for $15, that's definitely going in the cart. So now, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to look for that dang cord, because I already know how valuable the cord is. And so I'm looking around. I've bought other things in that section where someone has toyed with them and maybe pulled pieces out of them, and suddenly their pieces are everywhere. So I am going to go to the back where the electric cords are and see if I can find that cord. But this bag of sockets caught my eye, because I did recently sold an item that I got in the same aisle in a bag just like that, some Snap-on nut drivers. So I'm always looking for Snap-on in there, or sometimes they have vintage auto parts. So now we're in the way. I'm going to blocking everything, but I want to take a look at the new cart that she just brought out, see if there's anything that I can put in my cart to later take back out. And sure enough, there is some stuff that I'm going to put in my cart. I really was trying to find some good games, just because I've done so well with games. I put that one in the cart thinking that's probably not going to stay there. I just wanted to check it out, and I wanted to get out of the way. I knew that wasn't any good, so that was going right back into the bin. She had already emptied those, so now I got to go back through the aisle and see what she put in there. Unfortunately, if I can get around this guy and try not to get in her way while she's putting stuff away. I try to create a good relationship with the people that work in Goodwill, so they will be kind to me. I stay out of their way, many of the people that work here will tell me about things. So try to keep that relationship strong and positive. I don't know what she put out, but now I gotta look at everything to see if anything looked new. Didn't really care about the Star Wars figures there. Certain collectibles, I just, I got fatigue on. I don't want to look at Star Wars figures in the box, especially not from the Jar Jar Binks era. So I think mostly those were puzzles, and puzzles for me are verboten unless they are... Oh, he was interested in stuff I had too. Puzzles are verboten unless they are a really good puzzle that has a unique tie-in. Like I recently sold a Grateful Dead sealed puzzle. Sealed, it has to be sealed, has to have a unique tie-in, unless it's very vintage. We bought a 1970, I think early 70s Disney puzzle that was great, except it was missing a piece. Now I counted all the pieces before we put it together, and it actually had one more piece than it was supposed to have. But when we put it all together, it was missing one piece and had multiple pieces of another piece. So I don't know how that happened, but I didn't pay much for it, so it's not a total loss. I look at these little boxes of cards and things, because sometimes I'll find good stuff. Now here's something that she put out, and this is why I was following her into the aisle to see what she put out. There's a Dominion game. That's a different version than the version I have currently, and that version is worth a little more, and I'll tell you in the haul why I picked that up. And sorry, I feel like I'm about to have a seizure. That's a beautiful outfit, but so put those two games in there. We'll talk about those in the haul. Those did make the cut. I might have to have a seizure warning here. I'm just trying to scan around her for anything else that looked new on the shelf. We spend a lot of time walking back and forth in this store, depending on when things are coming out. There was a time where they would bring out a big cart of bins, like you saw earlier, and just set it there and leave it. Not even try to put anything out. Just let people dig through it. I enjoyed that. I found great stuff that way. Now you kind of have to be aware of at all times when something comes out. You listen for that sound, and as soon as you hear the sound, it's like when you have a fish tank, and as soon as you lift the lid, the fish come right up to the surface looking for food. That's what it feels like. You hear the sound of the door opening and something sliding, rolling out, and you run to the top of the surface. So I have to look at those clubs as part of my love-hate relationship with golf clubs. I have to look. Fortunately, those are normally priced way too high. I've found a few clubs there that I've sold for good money. Usually I'm paying $10 to $15 for the club, though. But I'll buy them if I can get, $100 or close to. I did buy last year. I bought an entire set of irons of the Ping Eye Black Dot Ping Eye 2s in the beryllium color. And those I haven't listed. I have them sitting here looking at me, so I got to list those. It's golfing time. I dig through the Blu-rays here. This Goodwill is one of the few that I think have tried to keep their media prices respectable. I think Blu-rays or DVDs are either $3 to $4, unless they're something special. And I look for 3D movies because I think those are harder to find. And so if I have a little collection of 3D movies, so I kind of pick through those. I hardly ever resell movies unless it's something special. You'll see in an upcoming video a very special Blu-ray that I found at a rummage sale. So keep an eye out for that. Checking out lamps because it's something I don't normally look at, and I recently saw another YouTube video where someone was talking about lamps and what to look for. So I thought I'm gonna at least spend a second looking at lamps. Now this is kind of the area where I like to park and sort through stuff, and I think I turned my camera off so I could kind of look at stuff and decide what's gonna go, what's gonna stay. That's not gonna go into the cart either. I'd never seen those before, but they're new. The type of collectibles I just don't normally do. I will buy Monster High dolls, that's for sure. I was hoping these were clay poker chips, but they were not. Pretty cool poker chip holder though. So this tote of train cars, I thought they were older, and I got all the way up to the check stand before I recognized that they were actually not old. I finally opened the tote, and so I actually brought the tote back. After I bought my stuff, I just brought it back and put it back on the shelf, which is another way to endear yourself to the staff. I didn't want them to have to cart it back. I just told them, hey, I'll drop this back where I got it. Double checking those. This is like the adult version of the toy aisle. They just throw stuff in here. You can't see anything. It's impossible to find anything. Baseball bats, baseball mitts. It's been a long time since I found a good mitt to resell. Easton mitts, I don't think those are any good. Not at $10 or $12, whatever they had on that one. And it's been a while since I found a good bat, too. Thought about that catcher's mask, but just wasn't worth reselling. I have found some good stuff in this row, hidden in the row. I found a great powerlifting belt. It was extra small, unfortunately, but I still got over $100 for it. Certain items, you get that sense, your spidey sense, tingles, and you realize that's better than normal stuff. And in that case, that was an item that was worth getting. Lots of knick-knacky stuff in here. Ironically, this is the place where a lot of people go on $1.99 day. As soon as the store opens, they run to there. I'm not sure what they're looking for, but they run to that spot. So I am still looking at that ridiculous Wi-Fi adapter. Hoping to find some more Samsung One Connect boxes. It's been a while. I'm down to my last one, and so I gotta refill my stock on those. I don't know. Maybe they're coming to an end, but I know our Samsung Frame TV uses one. So, and I've sold one actually just like the one that came with our TV. Pretty much you're always getting close to $200 for those, if you have the cord, maybe a little bit more, because of course it's a special type of cord. These companies thrive on creating products that have to have a special something. just kind of feeling like I need to leave, wanting to check things out one more time. There's a Guitar Hero guitar. That's the one guitar I don't even look at. I'll pick up beat up Rockman guitars, but I won't pick up those. Looking to see, hey, was that an actual Oculus headset or just one of those things you stick your phone in? Kind of scan the keyboards. I'm always on the lookout for a good keyboard. I found one recently, a nice Logitech that I use now. It's nice, heavy. Again, my Venn diagram for stuff. Heavy, well built, looks cool. More stuff to look at. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a Thursday, so not my normal day. So if I'm in the store on a day that's not normal for me, I do a little extra because just trying to put together, is anything different about a Thursday compared to days I normally go into the store? So do they bring certain things out on Thursdays that they don't bring out on other days? Still looking for the power cord for that Salad Master and for that Wi-Fi adapter. Thankfully, I did not find the cord for the Wi-Fi adapter. Unfortunately, I did not find the cord for the Salad Master. That would have been awesome. I would have really appreciated to find that. Looking at my watch, I gotta get out of here. We gotta move this along. The dark side is trying to get me to find that cord for that Wi-Fi adapter. I was curious what that cord was for. Not that it was for my thing, but some of those cords, like I mentioned, can be super valuable. So there's an airplane headset. I've sold some before, not familiar with that brand. It didn't appear to be a good one, and I think I did end up checking it out, but did not keep it. It went in the things to look at bin. One last shot, guy. I'm either going to put you in the cart or we're not. Okay, we made it back from Goodwill and a pickup for Facebook Marketplace. So everything in the back that you see is the stuff you saw me looking at Goodwill. Some of it you saw me looking at Goodwill today. And then everything up front here is from Facebook Marketplace pickup. And if you've been following me, you know that I've been getting military strategy board games and magazines and such and computer games from a person. And so she called me and said she had another load for me. Now, everything you see here, I paid $100 for. But let me show you a couple of things I got. So back here is this board game Shogun, and I'll show you what it looks like, but I'll also show you. So here's a comp, and this is similar. If you look through this, it's similar to what I have, but I want to show you what is one of the reasons I pay whatever they ask for these games. So let me pop this up just a second. So all of these games that I've been getting are like this. If they're not brand new, they're used. They are carefully sorted and stored, and then in addition, all these games always have notes. His notes, photocopies of magazine articles on playing the game and strategies for playing the game. And then just an amazing amount of extra value. I think extra value for anyone who buys this. And then obviously the condition is excellent too. So remember, I paid $100 for all of this. So underneath there are just some big box computer games. I don't know if any of that's really has any value. Maybe those Micro Prose games. I haven't even looked inside those to see what's in them, but we will do that. And then this is a bunch of computer game manuals. And one of the things that I'm glad to see is I already have this game from a previous purchase. So here's the manual for it, an SSI game. Here's some other vintage games that I may or may not have the discs for, but I have so much stuff that I'm getting parts of things in different buys. So I'm eager to buy up anything that they have that's like this. And she's been very good to offer it to me first. So, and then in addition, here's some of the computer games. Here's some, there's some floppy disks. Here's a Might and Magic flag. Just that goes for about $20. Here's a bunch of the magazine games that I've been getting. So here's an example. This is Command and Strategy, the magazine, but then in addition, it comes with a game, and a lot of these are unpunched, so the games themselves have not been played, but the magazine is there. Here's one that I don't know where the game is, but I have a lot of pieces and parts similar to like this. So there's a lot of searching to go. But let me show you these games too. There's a whole stack of in the box or in the plastic bin. Here's one not used, although I would say this one has a little issue because the pieces are a little warped, but brand new. All the stuff down in there. This game isn't as valuable. I'll show you what that looks like. Here's a similar game. And I'll show you some comps from those. I wanted to show you what these look like. So this one is Crimea, and I'll show you a comp for that as well. But a lot of these come in these little things like this. There's some instruction manuals, some charts and things that you would use as part of the game. And then most of them come with a large map. So this big map folds out. And then underneath here are all the counters. They call them counters. These are punched counters. So this game has been used, but you know, the odds that I have all of them are pretty slim, considering that I have lots of stuff like this laying around. But that's okay. You can always create new counters, print out new counters yourself. But these maps and this stuff is highly desirable. So that's a great example of what I've been getting. I got tons of these things and really happy with everything I've gotten. You've heard me talk about the magazine sales. I've just sold another set of magazines the other day. So thousands, probably close to 2,000 in magazine sales so far from this multi purchase. So let me, we'll switch this out and then we'll pull this stuff forward so we can talk about all the Goodwill stuff. Okay, and then this is everything that we got from Goodwill today. I know you didn't see all of this, but you should have seen some of this in the video from in-store. Altogether, I paid $83 including tax, so $75.94 before tax. And when I do my quarterly filing, I'll get my sales tax back. Let me go through this stuff. Some of the stuff might look familiar if you've watched my recent thrifting videos, but let me go ahead. We'll come to this last. Back here is a coin sorter. This is a Royal Sovereign. I've sold Royal Sovereign coin sorters before. This one was only $10. It's nice condition in the box, plus a ton of the coin holders. So once you've sorted them, they put them in the paper. So I paid $10. I probably should get 40 for that, 35 to 40 plus shipping. This back here you saw in a recent video. I got it. It was marked $40. It was 30% off today. So I decided to go ahead and grab it. And one of the reasons is it's in such nice condition and complete in the box. And this is this is a CD changer, but it doesn't connect to your car stereo. It plays through a radio station on your car stereo. So kind of cool setup. You don't have to have a special receiver or anything. You just have to be able to connect to the antenna jack on your car stereo. So nice condition there. The unit's down below. I almost bought this at 40 and just decided that I would pass, but 30% off of that, it was worth getting today. Got this Bop It. Now, I was kind of surprised. I paid $4 for it. This is a newer Bop It, I think from 2022, but the comps were really good, so I was willing to spend $4 on it. It's in nice shape too. Back here, 4 records. These are 99 cents a piece. All of them are in pristine condition. Who doesn't want, Barbara Streisand, Barbara Mandrell, trucker music, and the theme from Deliverance? I mean, who doesn't want that? And then you saw in the video I got a lot of games. I put almost all of them back, but I did come away with these 2, and I'll tell you why. This one I already have one of these. This is the base game. I have a bunch of the expansion packs, and I made a mistake by not buying this when I bought the expansion pack, because some of the expansion pack cards were probably in the base game that I didn't buy. So I'm hoping that in all these cards I might find some expansion cards. Worst case, I've got some extra cards that I can always part out. This was only $8, so not a huge investment. The 2009 version, I think, was a better selling version, so if it's complete, I can still sell that. And then this game I hadn't seen before, but and I did not count all the pieces, so I'll have to do that, but the comps were pretty good on this. Not familiar with it, but we paid $7 for this game, so pretty good there. Okay, so let's get to this last item here. Recently I sold a cordon bleu electric skillet, or I don't know how they classify these, Dutch ovens or something. This is a Salad Master, and when I saw the lid, I saw the S there, and it's actually on the handle as well. And so I was a little bit excited to see what this condition was. It does have a little bit of, I don't know if that's coloration or staining, but inside is pretty good. It has the Salad Master bowl that goes in it, and then pretty good on the inside. Here's the details of it. Now, the thing that doesn't have is the power cord, which plugs in here. And if you saw my cordon bleu, it was the same. It's the same cord. I'm sure cordon bleu was made by Salad Master. It must have same exact cord. Unfortunately, the cord is about $100. But when I show you the comps, you'll see that I'm probably going to invest $100 in a cord to go with the $15 that I paid for this, in order to get close to $500 for this. So definitely would be worth the investment. I'm not sure what I would get if I tried to sell this by itself. So we're going to look at cords. They're out there. And then that way I can certainly make sure everything's tested well. See what I can do about the staining. I don't think I can do anything about that, but we'll give it a shot. But definitely worth $15 for Salad Master. You heard me talk about Salad Master recently with a couple of other pans that I sold. So I thought this was an excellent thrifting, which I don't normally go on Thursdays, but it was worth it. Was kind of in there at the right time. Had some other things going on in town, so it was just down the street. So an excellent day of thrifting at Goodwill. And even though I got a comment on my last thrifting video that I'm out to lunch, that nobody buys things at Goodwill anymore for resale. But here's a great example. I mean, this is a multi-$100 pickup. So we'll see on the other stuff, and we'll see with the Facebook Marketplace stuff, see how we do. Look for those future sales in a What Sold video.